Good morning guys, May the 12th, 2022 Bulletin. We had the CPI data out yesterday and it caused a big risk off scenario, but we knew we were going to be risk off just by looking at the sentiment, so we still need to flush out these guys, so we need to fall, and then once they're out of the equation then we can be risk on again. It's very simple. We want to do the opposite of the dumb money, and that's what we do in a nutshell. So we had a big heads up on that. VIX is really high, it's above its yearly pivot. And yen is the strongest as well, Aussie's weakest, so the FX sentiment is telling us risk off as well. Yen is strengthening on the multiple time frames, and it's actually fourth strongest on the weekly, second strongest on the daily, and strongest on the H4. So that's a risk off scenario. This matches Marco's technical analysis. Remember to see the pin message on the technical channel. Click that and you can just see what's strengthening from last week, and yen was a big mover 2 weeks prior, so that gave us 2 weeks notice on this yen move. There's the yen bubble, there's Aussie. Gold is sell, so you should look at your gold chart, and then if you're wondering why it's fallen, it's because of that. It's dead simple. And CAD is in the strong buy section. It looks like Euro might want to come down as well, but I'll be watching this yen bubble today, and like I said a little while ago, it's going to gravitate down and it's going to be like a wrecking ball. And what the USD does, I'm not sure, but if the USD comes over here as well with the yen, then we're going to be pretty heavily risk off. Okay. S&P, there's the shakeout. Big candle after the CPI, tried to recover the gains. It didn't quite close above, and so that was actually a bearish scenario, and it tried to shake them out, but no, they're buying the dip. So apes will be apes, and they're going to have to get eliminated and liquidized, and it will fall until they get out of the equation. I saw on Twitter there's $200 billion in GameStop stock and other meme stocks that they're just holding on. So I think there's like a a partnership of really rich people, billionaires, and they're just invested in this this scheme, this Wall Street bets scheme. So it's not just retail guys, but actually really rich investors have invested in it. So I don't know if this 200 billion is correct, but someone has to match that those orders. And it's going to cause instability and volatility. So whether or not that's true, I don't know. It seems like an astronomical number, but apparently that's like the amount of money that's invested in meme stocks. So I guess they want to bring a crash, and if so, they're doing a good job. And so it's their fault for this. By the way, it's nothing else. It's the retail guys, but with their large pockets. And because the market has to do the opposite, in order to fulfill those orders. So if they sell it, then the banks will buy it. But if they're buying it, then someone has to sell it. Okay, and these guys are normally wrong. So the computer systems are completing orders based on what the dumb money are doing. You can see time and time again. Every time they go long, it's a sell. So it has to be sentiment, like an algorithm out there that's doing the opposite of the dumb money. So if they go long, which they're doing, we have to fall. So it's it. And this is the intraday movements as well. So in case you're wondering, sentiment is pretty king and powerful. Gold quite calm and serene compared to S&P. That's just like really horrible. And this is a lot calmer. And there's the sell where we saw them go long against the 21 moving average, and so we fell a decent amount there. So I'll try not to rant about this, but it's very frustrating because people have got money invested in the stock market, and these guys are ruining it for them. My dad's got a portfolio of lots of money in it, and it's it's losing money a lot. So I blame these Wall Street bet guys, predators. So there's the gold sentiment that's covered. There's no inversion, but they're still very high. So that's all that needs to be said about that. They could come down a lot, but because they're so high, it's like saying flight to safety. Come to bonds, get out of stocks potentially. Yen is the strongest correlation. Well, actually, the NOK yen is stronger, but I don't know if you guys have got that on your brokers. You probably don't have NOK yen, but you will have Aussie yen. So if you want to know what US 500 is going to do, look at AJ chart with 89% probability. So if it looks like it's really heavy and it's going to fall, it's breaking support, there's an 89% chance that the US 500 is going to do the same. So that's quite good. And dollar yen's doing the same thing. It's just being dollar yen. There's the risk off, which we know about in advance because of their risk calculation. So SLC update, the largest mover was Euro USD, which is there, and that matches red, 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 and so there's lots of match there. That tells us dollar strength. And largest stockless cluster is AU, which is that there, which is probably safe now. If we're going to be risk off, there's probably not going to be a likelihood of those stops being probed because AU is going to fall if we're going to be risk off. So these stops are probably going to be safe. And dynamically, yen is strongest, Aussie is weakest, which I covered already. And strongest currency pair that's above the daily pivot is EA, which makes sense because that's a risk-off indication, and the weakest is pound yen. We've fallen 163 pips below the daily pivot, so that would have been really horrible if you were long on that. But we would have known not to be, you know, long on that because you just look at the bubbles. You see that distance between the yen and the pound, you know, so you'd get out of that trade looking at the bubbles. So yeah, and we can't extrapolate a signal from this because we need to have a common denominator, and we can't strip out one because it just wouldn't make sense. So I hope that everyone understands the logic here and how we can make signals, but we couldn't at the moment, right? So if you don't understand, you've got to let me know because I'm using this on a daily basis now, and it's been really good and really profitable. So let me know if that doesn't make sense. We had 61 pips yesterday. So 82 pips on EA, which is pretty cool, and that was prior to the CPI as well. And we had AJ sell as well, but that went slightly wrong at 21 pip loss. But we made a profit on the day, so that's cool. And I'm not sure about offering a signal trade recommendation today, as we still need to shake up these stubborn apes. Once they've been eliminated and liquidized, the direction will be clearer. And also, I think maybe cross yen might have exceeded ADR. This would have exceeded ADR by now. We would have hit like support, I'd assume. And so from an ADR perspective, we have to be careful today on cross yen. And we still need that yen bubble a little bit further down as well. So what it might do, it might gravitate this way, and it's going to do this. I don't know if you got that makes sense. It's going to do like a zigzag in, come back, and it's going to be over here, and it's going to be an absolute beast, and then we're going to see a big risk off scenario. So potentially it will retrace, come back, retrace, come back, and then if it won't come down straight because nothing goes in straight lines. It's going to have to zigzag like that. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. By looking at the bubbles, you get to understand their behaviour. And just one of the good things about the Quasidb sheet is that you can see the retail herd sentiment in real time. And that's that. So I just wanted to say, trade safely. We had some high severity data, and that's in 6 hours, 30 minutes time. And just let me know if you've got any questions at all. And if you need me to help you, just let me know, because that's what I'm here for. And if you're struggling, let me know, then I can help. And have a good day, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.